Hi, I'm Sarah from The Upcoming. A real pleasure to be with you here in Cannes.
Thank you.
Huge congratulations on this really beautiful film.
Yes.
For people who haven't seen it yet, can you give us a brief introduction in your own words? What can they expect when they come to watch it?
In the real life, I'm a comedian. I've lost my mother when I was 14, and my mother was very young. She was 36. And one day I read a book from Clementine, which is a French political woman. And she lost her mother, who were an actress, very well known in France, who is called Dominique Laffin, at the same age than me. And then I decided to adapt her book to a film. Trying to adapt the book, finally, it pushed me. Adapting her book made me questioning myself about my mother, and then our four stories, two mothers and Clementine and me, mixed together to tell how it's difficult to be motherless and how many time it takes to understand and maybe forgive.
And I just love how kind of multi-layered it is, because obviously in her book, Clementine is following in the footsteps of her mother, and then obviously you were then inspired to go back and follow yours. In terms of the form it takes, you know, where it's obviously based on fact and these are your real experiences, it's also still a film. So what is the relationship between fact and fiction in the movie?
I think in the film there is I'm passionate about fiction, about cinema. I wanted to make a real film, not a documentary. So I wanted to tell the story of Clementine and her mother. But in the same way, I'm obsessed by truth. Like an audience, for example, when I go and watch movie, I'm always so moved when real people tell their story. So I wanted that in the film, very different way of telling story, fiction, fantasy, memories, photographies, real people, awkward people. You know, when the real people talk to the camera, you can feel all the humanity of these people because they are not used to that, and then you can share something really deep, and they're not actors and actresses. I was dreaming that the film could embrace very, very different way of telling stories.
And of course, not only are you going back and sort of facing your past, but you also were bringing Clementine on a journey to revisit her own. Was there any hesitancy from her part in jumping on board with the project, and how did you kind of collaborate?
I have to say, she was so stunning, because she said, okay, take the book, do whatever you want, which is very rare, because in her book she speaks about the mother, she speaks about real deep feelings when she were a child. So I was so surprised that she never asked what would I do, which I would choose like an actress to play her mother. She never asked. I was so surprised by this freedom. She gave me complete freedom. And at the beginning, she wasn't supposed to act in the movie, because at the beginning I wanted to make a real fiction. I didn't want to be in my film. Everything changed during the writing, and then in a point when I understand that nobody like her could tell her story with the words she wrote in the book, I had to call her and say, Clementine, you have to play in the film. I can't just do it without you, because nobody will tell your story like you, with your words. And she said yes again. And I'm still very surprised. And also, you know, she's a political person in France, very well known, and political world, everybody is so watching every word you say, but she gave me the feeling like she doesn't care, and she trusts me, I guess, because she told me, do whatever you want. So it was really, but I never doing the film, editing the film. One of my goal was, of course, that she would recognize every feelings of her in the film. I was really like obsessed by not betrayal, the image of her mother, for example, choosing the actress who plays her mother was like, oh my God, I was praying that she would be very close to what Clementine can imagine from a mother, which is okay. So I was so happy. So yes, my deep concern was to stay very faithful to every little feelings that she wrote in her book.
I think the thing that you capture so well is kind of the nature of memory, and I love the scenes going back, you know, to the 1970s, and you know, maybe I'm just slightly younger, but you know, like that kind of nostalgia, the retro look of everything, but also the way, you know, we often do just have fragments, and sometimes, you know, you'll have images that are so strong and so precise, but you can't really remember what happened just before, just after.
Yeah, of course. It's so true. It's so true.
So was that something very important to you as
It's
well?
also a film about memory, really. I mean, like you say, exactly. My mother died when I was 14, and I hardly have like 4 memories, always the same. Not the scene before, not the scene after. She's running, but I can't see her face. Everything is in pieces, and I can't. And that's what was great with adapting the book from Clementine. Clementine, she's got more than me, like memory, because she lived more often with her mother. So sometimes I had a feeling of being abandoned in an apartment during the night, but I can't remember exactly when. But Clementine described it very precisely in the book. So in all the moments with no memory, I can grab Clementine's memory to help me get closer to my memories, you see?
So obviously it's such a personal project, but there are so many universal themes that I think anyone can relate to. And it is, you know, how we define ourselves when we're not clear about our own past, the trauma that we can carry with us. But I think there's ultimately quite a positive sensation that you have coming out of the cinema, because although it can be, you know, challenging to revisit our trauma, it can be very freeing as well. And there's this overwhelming feeling of lightness, I think, by the end, even though there's some really, really tough moments to watch.
You know, I mean, now I'm 53. I'm so happy to have my kids. It's been such a beautiful thing to become a mother. So I didn't want a sad movie, which is beautiful in this story. It's what we became. These 2 mothers, they were so vulnerable, so not able to live finally, and they left so early. But finally, we are these 2 girls. We've got children. I met my step brothers and sisters. Something above us has made strong women. I'm acting, I'm directing. Clementine is doing politics. Our daughters are alive. In a way, it's the film is about the light that can come even from vulnerable and fragile women. And it was really important for me. It's a movie about repair.
And I think also when we're younger, our parents are just our parents to
Right,
us.
yeah.
And it's only as you get older that you realise they're our own people, and often only just doing their best.
Yeah.
And I think that's something you really take away by the end of the film as well. They might not have been perfect parents, but then what is a perfect parent in the end? As you said, they were like, you know, these bright comets going off kind of thing. And they did have so much to give to the world.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I think everyone has to go through that at some point, of seeing their parents as people, not just their parents.
Yeah. I mean, if the movie gives this feeling, I'm in heaven.
And what's it meant to you to have your film here in Cannes?
Oh my God, it's silly, but it's I mean, it's I've done one film before, which I really love, but in this one, I had my first film it was about my family, my divorce with the father of my kids. It was a comedy about how we kept love each other even if love story was ending, and it's a film that we produced very I mean in an accidental way. It was great, and in this one, the writing, I was dreaming of putting some cinema in it, something, I'll tell you, mix these stories, these different formats. And so when I heard that the film was in Cannes, I was so moved that it was like, wow, it's my second film. It's a real film. I don't know how to say it. It's silly because my first one was also a real film. But because I wrote it, this one, a very long time, I discussed the images, the past, the present, what kind of... I was dreaming of, yes, of cinema. And to be welcome in Cannes, I mean, it's been 4 weeks, I know now, and I'm still not realizing. It's like, in a way, there is a link with the film. I think when you left your mother too early, there's nobody really, my father, of course, but your mother, there's no really someone who say, you're here, you deserve to be here. That's what you miss all your life. And yeah, but it's true. And you're running after that, and maybe that's I become comedian to hear people tell me you deserve to be him. But if the original place is missing, and it's a bit silly, but I think when the festival they can say we take your film, gave me the feeling that it's like a mummy would say to you, you deserve to be him. Your film deserves to be him. So it's like a repair again with my film, which already trying to repair something. So Cannes was a huge news for me.
Very much. Well, thank you so much for sharing all that with me.
Okay.
Huge congratulations on the beautiful film.
Thank
I really
you.
enjoyed presenting it here. Thanks so much.
Thank you.